Good evening, believers. How are you doing? This is Love Coach Dasha. Let me make sure my mic is right here. All right, this is Love Coach Dasha, and I am here today for our first Healing Hour Live of 2022. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm excited about 2022. I'm excited about healing. I'm excited about telling you all about how to get on the healing path this year and how to stay on it and actually succeed at this, actually heal and reconcile and get back together and feel good about what you're doing. Hey there, Roxanne. Hi on Instagram. Hey to everybody. Hey to everybody on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. If you're on my Facebook or if you're on my YouTube, go to well, I don't know if it's on YouTube too, but go to Facebook, StreamYard.com/Facebook and come on over. And I will be able to see what your name is. Let me make sure. Oop, I'm getting messages. People are like, is it on? Is it on? Yes, it is on. Hold on, let me see. Can we see everything? Let me make sure, because sometimes I'll think everything is hooked up and it's not. Hold on, let me check. Let me refresh this page. Who was that? That is Leanne. Leanne, I am trying to find you, honey. Hold on. Should see it in the group. And if you don't see it in the group, just come to Instagram. That's fine too. We can do that too. I will be able to see you and talk to you wherever you go. I should be able to hear everything that you need to let me know. But I see it on Facebook. So if you haven't seen it on Facebook, just refresh. Try and go over to Facebook and see if you're in my Love After Cheating group. If you are not in my Love After Cheating group, why aren't you in my Love After Cheating group? Why are you not in there with me? My Love After Cheating group is my special corner of the internet where we can go and we can discuss getting on the healing path and being with the person that we want to be with without any judgment. I have made this a judgment free place. I have made this so that no, we are not telling each other, oh, you should leave. You should just go ahead and walk out on him. I don't know why you're doing this. You're being a doormat. There's none of that. We are not doing all of that. All right. Leanne, you got me though? You got me? Can you see? Let me know. Post in the comments and let me know that you can see me. You just sent me a message, but yeah. I think you should be able to see. I can see people on checking out the live. All right, let me make sure I got all that lined up. So, how was your new year? Did you have a good new year? Did you have fun with your honey? I know a lot of people argued on New Year's Eve. There's a lot of expectations with holidays. So, that is a completely normal thing to have happen. A lot of people do it. I ended up doing it. We ended up arguing over something stupid. What was it? Oh, something I told him that I didn't like him saying, and he said it. And I was like, dude, I told you. And and it just, it started to spin off, and we were like, okay, no, we're not gonna mess this up. We're not gonna mess up the holiday. We're not gonna mess up our New Year's. We're both gonna calm down. We're not gonna flip out. But it's a typical thing to happen. It's very normal for people to get upset with each other during the holidays. So now that's over. The stress is gone, and now we're entering in a whole new year. So we got the opportunity to do better, know better, feel better. So that's what we're going for this year. All right. Let me see. All right. So let me tell you, since there are like hundreds of new people in the group, what I wanted to do was make sure that I went over the dreams formula today. But that's going to be like the fourth or fifth thing I do, because I'm going to do the stuff that I always do with you, which is first doing your deep breathing and your journaling. Have you been doing your deep breathing? Have you been doing your journaling? Telling you, if you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not doing this on the regular. Your deep breathing should be done five times a day. This should be a thing that you do regularly, not just when the anxiety strikes you, because it's not going to work very well then. You are going to need to be doing this consistently so that when you are consistently bringing that level of anxiety down, you are able to manage it a little bit better when there's a spike, when there was a rise, when there's a trigger. If you are constantly up here at a 9 out of 10 anxiety, and then you have a trigger, like you have nothing to work with to try and bring it back down. You're very much stuck at that higher level. So we want to start bringing it down even when you're not triggered, okay? We need to start working on it then, and then it's going to help you even more when you are triggered, okay? So we always do 4-7-8 breathing. And what I like to do is I do 4-7-8, but you can do whatever breathing technique you like. If you have another pattern that works for you, one that works easily for you that you can think of when you're in the moment and you're stressing, feel free to use it. But if you don't have one, use mine. And I have a video on YouTube, which is just doing the breathing. I need to post it in the group. I'll post it in the group for you. But you can just sit down with me and just breathe. It's 5 inhales and exhales, doing the deep breathing with me. So it's not just like this where we're doing 3, it's the full 5. So you can just go back to that video, refer back to that video whenever you need it on my Love Coach Dasha page. But since you're here with me, we're going to do our deep breathing together. Yay! All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to blow out, try and deflate your lungs. Then you want to inhale through your nose or through your mouth if your nose is stuffy or whatever. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. You're going to hold that breath for a count of 7. And then you're going to blow out like you're blowing out a whole cake full of birthday candles for a count of 8. You're going to make the sound of blowing. Make that noise because that's going to be a trigger. We are working with triggers, right? We are dealing with triggers all the time, but there can be good triggers too. So we need to learn how to create good triggers for ourselves so that our brains know, oh, wait, when I hear that whooshing sound, that means I'm going to calm down. Things are going to go better now. So you'll be creating that good trigger in your brain, and then you're going to be doing it consistently, and that is going to lead to you being calmer overall, okay? So we're going to blow out, inhale, hold, blow out again. We're going to do it 3 times in a row, okay? First things first, blow out. Inhale through your nose, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blow out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blow out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blow out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. How does that feel? Let me know. People on Facebook, whether you're here now or you're on the replay, it doesn't matter. Let me know. How does that feel when you do the deep breathing? You should feel lots of different things to happen. If you have been in a state, if you have been anxious, if you have been tight, you haven't been taking any deep breaths, you're going to probably feel a little lightheaded. It's going to be a little bit woozy when you first start doing this deep breathing because you're all of a sudden getting oxygen when you have not been. You have not been blowing out that carbon dioxide, which is a problem unto itself. When you build up carbon dioxide, when you're holding your breath or hyperventilating, you are not blowing that carbon dioxide out, and that raise in the carbon dioxide level in your brain tells your brain that something is wrong. Something must be wrong with us because the carbon dioxide level is too high. When you do this, you settle that feeling down, you calm yourself, you center yourself. So you may yawn, may feel a little sleepy, may feel a little bit brighter, may feel a little bit like more reasonable, more sensible, like, oh, I have a little bit of oxygen in my brain now. I can think more clearly. So it's a lot of different things that will help your overall anxiety level, but you just need to remember that breathing is good for everything. Breathing is good for all forms of pain. If you are hurting in some way, shape, or form, do some deep breathing. It's going to start to help with the pain. It's going to bring that down a couple notches. Leanne, you said it felt pretty good. I'm glad you found me. Yes, it feels pretty good when you do it because you've been tight. You've been holding your breath. You've been not fully exhaling and then filling your chest up and inhaling. You haven't been doing that if you've been stressing. So if you do this on a consistent basis, it's going to start to change how you react to everything. It's going to bring that level down so that it's a more manageable level all the time. So then when it spikes a little bit, it's only a little bit above you. Then it's only a little bit higher instead of being way up here in the stratosphere. So you're going to have to just do this consistently. That's everything that I'm telling you. It's going to be do it consistently, okay? But I'm glad that makes you feel good. If you're here now on the replay, let me know how that makes you feel. Give me some hearts if you feel a little bit like spacey. You feel a little bit like woo. And give me some likes if you you yawned, if you started yawning when you did it. Let me know. And I am always open to listen to you. If you are doing the deep breathing, you're like, damn, coach, Dasha, that works. That really does work. That made me feel so much better. I cannot believe what doing some deep breathing 5 times a day did for me. Let me know that. I want to have people in my inbox telling me how well just doing the deep breathing helps them along the healing path. All right. All right. What else we got here? We are talking about journaling next. Now, you know, I'm big on the journaling. I'm going to always tell you to journal, just like I'm always going to tell you to do your deep breathing. Now, look, it does not matter what you use, but look, we lost Betty White and I got the Golden Girls one. Come on, man. It was perfect for this. But this one doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's a itty bitty one that can fit in your pocket. This came from the Dollar Tree. It does not matter. Whatever it is that you can sit down and take a few minutes and write in for yourself is going to help you with dealing with this trauma. It's going to help you to calm yourself down because that's what this is. It was a trauma. This was a trauma, and you deserve to take some time for yourself and sit down and put some of those feelings down on paper. When you do that, a lot of the time it is going to help with your sleep because you got those thoughts out of here and put them down on paper. And so then your brain is like, oh, she wrote it down, so she really must be paying attention. So it will let it go. It'll stop with a lot of those nightmares. When you do this first thing in the morning to organize your brain, have you getting ready good to go in the morning to get up and start your day. So do your journaling, okay? It doesn't matter what you use. Do your journaling. It's very important. It will help you a ton, okay? Another thing that's going to help you a ton on the healing path, if you are deciding to work things out or just trying to heal in general, is thinking about positive things. And today is Thirsty Thursday. It's always one of my favorite days. I always ask the people in my group to give us something to celebrate with them. Things go wrong. Yes, this is a terrible thing that has happened to you. It should not have happened to you. You should not have to be dealing with all this negativity. However, this did not stop good things from happening in your life. It will feel like that. It will feel like that very much. The trauma, the effects of your brain will tell you everything is bad. There is nothing good left for you. Everything is awful. It will tell you that. That's why it's so important for you to pay attention to the good things that go on in your life. You have to be mindful. Very much a part of healing is being mindful. Sorry, talking too fast. All right, so we need to be mindful about good things that are happening too. So I always open it up for people to tell me good stuff that happened, and you can tell me good stuff throughout the whole live because I always want to hear good stuff from you. I always want to hear things that we can celebrate with you. So that's why I decided to start shouting them out on the Healing Hour Live, telling people about good stuff that is happening, even to people who are dealing with infidelity right now. So Peggy, my dear Peggy, said that he told me in counseling yesterday that he feels guilty for what he did. Major breakthrough. Isn't that funny? Feeling like he's guilty is like a positive thing in all of this. It feels like I think Peggy was feeling like he didn't really feel like he was guilty. He just felt like, oh well, I pissed her off and I don't want to have to deal with that. But he is actually feeling guilty. He is showing remorse. He is saying, well, he's in counseling too. He's going to counseling with you. So that does actually show some remorse too. And he is telling you he does feel guilty. That is awesome. I'm glad that he is engaging with you on the feelings level so that you can understand that with him, Peggy. I'm glad that that is making you feel good on this Thirsty Thursday. So there are good things. There are good things. That was the only one that I had posted today, but all through this, talk to me. Let me know. If something good happened to you, I will shout it out on this live and let other people know so we can all celebrate with you. You want to have just as many, more people, matter of fact, you want to have more people celebrating with you than you have commiserating with you. You want to enjoy your life as much as you possibly can. So the more you think about the positive things, the more you're going to enjoy your life. All right. Alrighty, so that was a quick run through of the basics. Now, what I like to do is I do a couple of questions from the And deck. This is the Healing Edition. Let me make sure you can see it on both cameras. All right, the And Healing Edition. This came from theskindeep.com, and this is an awesome little game just to sit with your honey. And you know how after infidelity, you want to ask a whole bunch of questions? Okay, this is a way to ask questions that are healing questions that are not about cheating. All right, so it helps a ton to be able to have that communication, have that I want to talk to you. I want to ask you stuff, but it's not accusing you. It's not making you think about how horrible you are. It's just talking about things that are good for the relationship. So let's try one. Let's see. We'll do about 3 of them. This one says, what do you think you'd be doing right now if we had never met? Isn't that an interesting question? That's a good question to ask somebody. I know that my life would have been very much different. I don't even know. I'd probably be divorced. I say that it's terrible, but I'd probably be divorced if I hadn't met my honey, if I hadn't met the person for me. Like I tell people, all of this that I tell you is for your person. This is not for any old other random. Okay, this is not for just, oh, I felt like I didn't want to be alone, so I hooked up with this person. No, I'm talking about your person that it touches you deeply, makes you feel like you can do anything, makes you feel like the sky is the limit. That person. I'd probably be divorced if I hadn't like found my person and married him and locked this down. Because I'm impatient. I don't have a lot of patience with people. So like I probably would a couple years. I probably would have tried to make it work, and then I'd be like, all right, look, I'm gonna kick you to the curb now. So I think I'd probably be in that position. I'd probably be in the position where I'd be like a single parent at this point, with like an ex-husband who I probably couldn't stand. More than likely, that's what I think. I don't know where he would be. I don't know exactly where he would be, but I don't know if he'd be any better off than I would be. So I'm glad we did find each other because we would have been in trouble otherwise. All right. All righty. Let's see. What is another question? All right. What do you think there is for others to learn from our relationship? Huh. Look at that. That is definitely one for me right there. Because this is what people have to learn from my relationship. What do you think other people have to learn from our relationship? Yeah, this was the thing for me. So what is it for you? Let me know. If you can think of anything. Why you said, why can't you see the other people's chat? I don't know, Leanne. Hold on. Why is that? You have the game, Leanne? You have the Healing Edition? I'm trying. It's good, right? It's good questions. I don't know why. I think you're the only one live on Facebook. I think that's what it is. At this very moment. I think you're the only one. Yeah, that's what it is. You're the only one at the moment. People come and watch the replay. I'm glad you're here with me live though, because you can talk right to me. All right, let's see. You got this deck. This is a good deck. This is a good activity to do to be able to connect without just sitting there rehashing the trauma over and over again. Because I'm going to tell you, because we're starting off the year and I'm going to repeat a whole bunch of stuff that I have been repeating for a while now. You can't keep talking about trauma without re-traumatizing yourself. You can't keep going over it over and over and over again and feel like you're going to get better from it. Like that is, it's, I know it seems like your brain is telling you that you need the answers to all these questions. But the problem with that is your brain is trying to throw you anything it possibly can for you to isolate and back away from that person. Your brain's not trying to help you heal. Your brain is like, you were frightened, you were hurt, and we're going to try and stop that from happening again. And the first key thing to have that not happen again is for you not to be close to this person anymore. So it is trying to pull you away from your person. When you're obsessed over the questions like that, hey, Makai's mom, when you are drawn to the questions, when you are just stuck in that position where you're just like, oh, I have to know all the answers or else I won't be able to heal, that is a trick from your brain. Your brain is telling you you won't be able to heal unless you know all these answers, but that is not true. It's just re-traumatizing you every time you go through it. And you keep asking those same questions over and over again. Guess what? He's going to give you different answers every time. You know why? Because the first answer did not matter. Whatever the first answer was, even if it was the absolute truth, you didn't believe it. You wanted to ask the same question again because that's the way your brain works on trauma. It wants to keep on asking those same questions over and over again. And so then you ask the question again, and he's like, apparently that wasn't a good enough answer, so let me try another one. And then he'll give you another answer. And to you, that is, he's lying to me. But it's actually just the fact that he's like, okay, I know she's not happy. I know she's not cool with me right now. I know she doesn't want to hear that answer. So let me try and think of an answer that she will accept. And that's why continuously talking about it over and over and over again is dangerous for both of you, because it sets you up to be hurt over and over and over again. And it sets him up to be a liar because he's trying so hard to find something that will help you. He's trying hard to figure out the right thing to say, not to hurt you anymore. All right. Does that make sense? Y'all let me know if that makes sense. All right. Let's see. Let's do one more. Oh, that's filling your own question. I don't have one right now. How would you title this chapter of our lives? Oh, that's nice. How would you title this chapter of our lives? I don't know. That's a good question. Let me think about that. It's all good. Like that's the chapter where I'm at right now. It's all good. I feel good. I feel really confident about our relationship. I feel really confident about like everything around our relationship. I feel like we're on the same page. We're working towards goals together. So like it's all good. I love that. You didn't miss the cards. I was just putting them up when you first came up. What'd I do? It was, what do you think there is for others to learn from our relationship? And what would you call this chapter in our lives? And what do you think you'd be doing right now if we had never met? Those are the questions. Those are the ones. You didn't miss it. I'm with you. All right. So that's like the basics. Now let's get into some other things. Let's talk a little bit about the dreams formula. We got to talk about that because, again, first live of the year and hundreds of new women. Let me just speak on that real quick. Okay, hundreds of new women in the last 3 weeks or so have joined the Love After Cheating group. So I want you to understand that you are not out of the ordinary. You are not strange. You are not weird. You are not wrong. You are not awful. You are not any of those things for wanting your relationship to work out. Just because other people tell you that's not what you should want doesn't mean that it's not what you should want. Okay. It is one of those things where their fear is talking to your fear. And we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about fear speech, but it's their fear talking to your fear when they're like, no, you shouldn't do it. And they're in the middle of it. That's the thing that trips me out. So many people I was helping, so many couples. I used to do just couples therapy. So many people we're going through this. We're dealing with trying to get past the infidelity. And it could have been years and they never left. But if somebody else would have come to them and say, yeah, my husband cheated on me, they'd be like, oh, girl, you need to kick him to the curb. Hold on. Wait a minute, ma'am. You are still with your cheater. You are with him right now. We're working through this right now. So you're telling other people not to stay based on your fear instead of telling them, hey, I really love this person. I did not want to let this go. We are working on it. Instead of just being honest about it, because there's so much stigma attached, right? There's so much stigma attached to being with the person that you love and you want to be with. Take, for instance, let's give a good example who is very much in the public eye. How about Hillary Clinton? How about Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton got dogged out for wanting to stay with Bill because Bill was a dog. And it is what it is. He just was. He stopped now. Apparently he's doing good. We ain't heard nothing bad about him. But he was like that for a while, and she wanted to work things out and stay in her marriage and not give up everything that she had going on in her life. But people dogged her out, made her feel so terrible, made it seem like it was so abnormal for her to want to keep on going with her marriage. That's one good example. People give Cardi B a hard time right about now. It's the more current example because she's got Offset and they are both young and rich and out here. And, I can imagine how bad things may happen being young and rich and out here. I can understand that completely. So she loves her mate anyway. She's like, okay, besides all that, this is still my person. This is still the person I want to be with. This is still the person I want to make my family with. And we should not be giving each other a hard time about that. But it's all based in fear. Let me tell you about that. So the dreams formula. We're in our group. We don't do that. We don't give each other a hard time about it because it's hard enough. All the guilt and shame people pile up on you. It's hard enough to do without having to deal with that from other people who are still in their relationship. So we're not doing it. But in our group, what we talk about is the dreams formula. Now, I came up with this from years of trying to heal. All right. It took if I had done the dreams formula, if I had known it at the time, I think it maybe would have taken me like a year. I think maybe at worst, it would have been a whole year stretched out. Instead of it was like 4 or 5 years that I had to really try and like get myself together and try and not to hurt anymore, even though he wasn't cheating. It still took a while. The dreams formulas, all the things that I kept doing that worked, that made me feel better, that made him act better, that made me feel more secure and trusting and made our relationship better. The things that I just kept having to repeat. If I repeated that, it worked every time. So the first thing is the D of the dreams formula is the decision. You've got to make up your mind. Okay. I understand if you're on the fence, and if you're on the fence, I have the Big D challenge coming up that's starting on January 17th to help you along the way with making the decision. Because honestly, you pretty much already made the decision. If you're still there, that's a decision. But you have to be conscious and mindful about your decision. So that is the first thing of the dreams formula. Whenever I was having a really difficult time, I always had to go back to my decision. I always had to go back and remember that this is where I want to be. This is what I am trying to do. I want to be with my husband. I love this person, and I know that it's difficult, but in spite of the difficulty, I am going to keep on doing the right things that lead me down the healing path. All right. That is what you need. You need that decision made in your mind so that when you wake up first thing in the morning, that decision is already made. You don't have to sit up and stress yourself about, should I leave? Should I stay? I don't know. You won't have to go through all that every day. You can fight back against the part of your brain that's like, run. You can fight back against that part because you decided already. Your brain has already been made up that you are staying. You're going to work this out. Things are going to be okay. So the decision is super important. All right. Not based on anything else other than what you want. I don't want you making this decision based on, well, if he would be transparent, then I would make the decision. I'm not talking about anything that has to do with him. Nothing. Not a bit of this decision has to do with him. It has to do with you. If you are choosing him, if this is the person that you love and you want to be with and you want this relationship to work out, that has nothing to do with his behavior at all. If you base your decision on his behavior, you would leave, right? That would be what happened. So you can't give up that power to make the decision. Make your own decision and stick with it. All right. That's the D of the dreams formula. Then we've got the R of the dreams formula, which is recognize and overcome the fear speech. Okay. Fear speech is all of that junk that's in your head, all of that stuff that comes to the surface, the questions, the whys, the pain, the suffering, the images. It's all fear speech. It is your brain responding to the fact that you were hurt by making you afraid to move forward in the relationship. It says, if I keep sending all of these terrible messages, all of these fearful thoughts, she's going to back off. She's going to isolate. She's going to put up that wall. She is not going to be close to him anymore. And then we'll be safe. We'll be okay. But the problem with that is, number one, not being with the person that you want to be with is not safe. It is not comfortable. It does not feel great to be alone, not be with the person that you want to be with. It's painful in and of itself. So your brain is trying to get you to do that, but it's not going to help you avoid pain, avoid the suffering. Okay. The second thing is, the more you try and avoid a trigger, the worse it gets. So the more you try and pull away, listening to the fear, doing what the fear tells you to do, the worse you're going to feel. Okay. So that's the R of the dreams formula. And the fear speech is going to come from other people too. Like I said, the people that are still with their mates, they're still with their mates, but they're like, you need to leave. I don't know why you feel like you should stay with him. And he is terrible. And he treated you so bad. And you're just being a doormat. But they're still with their mate who cheated. Okay. All right. That's their fear speech. Their fear speech is reaching out to your fear speech. And it's like, hey, be afraid. Do not let this slide. Do not let this be okay, because you should be afraid because it hurts so bad. You got to be mindful about it. That decision is going to lead to fear, and that is completely normal. That's what happens when you make big decisions. When you make this big decisions that are going to change your life, there is an element of fear involved. You have to acknowledge the fear and then say, okay, yes, I feel the fear. I understand what you're saying. I get how this could be dangerous to me, but I'm accepting the risk. I am accepting the risk because I want the love that I have for them to continue to flourish, continue to blossom. I don't want to give up on it. I am saying I just don't want to. And so when you made that decision, it's easier to deal with the fear speech. Okay. The E of the dreams formula is evaluating the why, evaluating why this happened. This is the first thing that has to do with him, right? The first two steps didn't have a thing to do with him. Had to do with you dealing with your own decision making, your own fears. But the evaluating the why is important because that is one of the key things your brain is going to tell you in order to try and stop you from healing. Your brain is going to say, you need to know why this happened to be able to deal with this. There is no way you can get past this if you don't know why. All right. It's going to keep telling you that. And so you're going to keep getting called to the why. So we're going to examine that. Why? There's three reasons, the three S's. Okay. And these are all still, if you think about them, they're all still trauma. They're all, your mate went through some trauma and they're trying to cope. All right. Sick. That's the first S. Sick is sick. Could be physical, could be mental, could be hormonal, whatever it is. They are physically ill. There is something wrong in their body somewhere from head to toe. People do the most awful things when they're sick. I was a nurse for 20 years. Let me tell you, I know people are awful when they're sick. Okay. And that is just the state of being a human being. We are not real good at being sick. So if your mate has a long-term illness, if they had a heart attack, if they have mental issues like bipolar disorder, my husband has bipolar disorder, like depression, all sorts of things, Those are physical illnesses that they do not have control over. They cannot just wave a hand and it's gone. So it's something that they are chronically dealing with all the time that has worn them down some. All right. That's the physical, that's the sick aspect. Then there's the sad aspect. The sad aspect is a loss of some kind. We have all been going through loss. We have been going through a global pandemic. I have lost people. Everybody has known somebody that lost somebody, even if you didn't personally know somebody that was lost. There is the grief of the relationship not working out the way that they want to. There is the grief of dealing with themselves. A lot of men, in particular, will say, "Oh, I am not satisfied with my life," and then they go to sex. They've been told that so often, and this is actually the third category, stupid, but they've been told so often that if their life is not going correctly, sex will solve it. Being with a new woman will solve that. It will make you feel more like a man if you run off and sleep with another woman. That is part of the third S, is stupid. A lot of stupid things that men are told about being in relationships. But the sad thing, any kind of loss. And then that, like I said, number 3 is stupid. Stupid is all of those things that they have been told about being in relationships that are just garbage. You know how you tell the little teeny boys, "Oh, you're going to be a heartbreaker when you grow up," or teenage boys, "Well, you're a virgin? You're supposed to be sleeping with lots of women." And they get a good girl when they get a little bit older. "Well, you got a good girl now, but you shouldn't settle down. You should make sure you got a couple of them." All that crappy stuff that they're told about what they're supposed to be doing as men, and basing their worth on how many women they can sleep with. That is a thing, okay? That movie tropes. Think about movies like I have to be a man by sleeping with women. That is the type of stuff that they've been told, okay? Also, bad examples. Their cousins, their uncles, their dad, and their mom who was cheating, and that seemed like the normal thing to do because that was what they saw all the time growing up. All of that stuff is the stupid of it all. And it's just stupid things that they've been told that makes them feel like cheating makes them more of a man. That's what it is. So that's the E of the dreams formula. Once you know your mate, you know what's going on with them, you know their history, you know their problems, you know their family members, you can probably figure out which one it is, and usually it's more than one. Usually it's a sprinkling of all of them. There is the A of the dreams formula, which is allowing the healing to happen. Now that you've made the decision, now that you're fighting off the fear, you actually have to allow yourself to heal. You have to let down the walls. You have to start doing the relationship stuff again. You have to start having sex on a regular basis again, being all in your feelings. And I don't really feel like having sex because I'm not really feeling connected to you. You don't get connected until you start having some more sex. Wearing your wedding ring, put your ring back on. Okay. Do the things that show to the outside world and to yourself that you are in a relationship, you are with the person that you want to be with, and you are moving towards the healing. Allow that healing to happen. Get back into your routines. Do things that you have always done with them that you stopped doing because they cheated. Do those things again. Make sure that you're saying "I love you." Make sure that you're giving and receiving affection. All of those things are super important. You need to be acting like a couple again. There is the M of the dreams formula, which is managing the future feelings. That's about the triggers. I was telling you earlier, the deep breathing, the journaling, thinking about positive things. Those are all things that are going to help you with the triggers. But the main thing about the triggers is triggers are sensory. They're going to come sometimes whether you have been working on it or not. So what you have to do is recognize where in your body, because it usually shows up physically first. Where in your body do you feel tension and stress when you are triggered? And then figure out, okay, walk it back. Go back, because it's big at that point. When you are stressed and you are triggered, it's huge. It's Godzilla. It's burning down the village. But there was a point where that feeling was an itty bitty monster. not a big old village killing monster. Okay. It was a little baby monster somewhere in you. It was like right up in here. It's that tension across your forehead, right here in your jaw. Feel like you want to say something, you want to talk, your jaw is clenched. In your throat, it may feel like it's choking you. In your chest, it may feel like it's trying to push your heart out of your chest. In your stomach, it may feel like it's wrapping your intestines in knots. All sorts of places that this little baby monster could be poking at you that you don't really notice because you're dealing with like the distraction, the mental distraction. You don't feel it physically. So in order to deal with the triggers, try and figure out where you feel it in your body when it's little. Okay. And then deal with it then instead of letting it get to be huge and stomping on the village. All right. Leanne, you said, oh, you missed, it's sad is what you missed. Yeah, it's sick, sad, stupid. Um, sad kind of overlapped in the stupid because a lot of that stupid is sad, but it's sad. It's a loss of some kind. So the sick is like physical illness, like real, honest to God, it's something physically affecting their body. Sad is mentally grieving the grief process, dealing with grief, and grief is from like tons of stuff. And then stupid is all of the outside influences. All right, that makes sense. All right, let me know. All right, then, okay, so I got the M is managing those future feelings. Figure out where the little grief monster is in you, where that little anxiety monster is, and try and trap it when it's itty bitty instead of when it gets very big. Um, and let's see, and use your senses. Triggers are sensory. Triggers are sight, touch, smell, taste, hearing. They're based in that. You will hear the phone ring or the notifications go off, and that will trigger you. You will see him look down at his phone, and that will trigger you. It's your senses are picking these things up. So you got to know things that will help your senses, things that you like to look at, things that you like to touch. And I love this top. I'm big on purple, and I absolutely love how it fits. I love how it looks on me. I feel good when I wear it. Sensory, it feels good to me. Your favorite song, favorite arts, favorite food, favorite smell, all those things will help you deal with triggers, managing those future feelings. And then there's the S. The S is for me. The S is for support. Really, the S is for getting someone who understands that you're on this path, who is not trying to convince you that you're wrong for loving the person that you love. They're not trying to convince you that you need to walk out on this relationship. They're not trying to convince you to do terrible things that you feel justified in doing inside the relationship because you're mad at this person and you feel like they deserve to suffer. This is getting people who will support your decision, who will tell you, hey, that's fear speech. You're just afraid right now and you're going off the rails. We need to come on back over here. Somebody who will tell you, you know why this happened. Don't think that this is just because he didn't love you. That is not the reason that this happened. That was him, his issues, not loving you. Somebody who will tell you, hey, you're telling me you haven't had sex in a month. What is going on? You need to do that and get a little closer. You're not touching him. You don't want to be near him. You need to do that. You need to go ahead and, act like a couple so you can feel a little bit better. And for M, managing your future feelings, you need somebody who is going to tell you that you're going off the deep end, who is like, hey, you look a little triggered, babe. You're looking a little triggered. Come on over here. Sit down, have a cup of tea with me. Calm yourself. Do some deep breathing with me. I will help you. I will help do this with you. That's what you need. You do not need people who are being all damn judgmental of what you're doing. You need people who are going to support you, who are going to understand that this is what you are trying to do. And it's a hard damn thing to do. And you need people who are going to back you up on that. That is the type of support you need. Don't anybody else, screw them. Okay. They're not going to help you. They're not going to fix this with you. You need somebody who is going to support you. That's why I created the group. That's why I created Love After Cheating. Leah, you say yes, 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 yes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You need that support. And even in the group, if anybody does ever say, oh yeah, you should leave him, I erase those comments because we're not having that type of negativity. We are all on the same page. We are all trying to do the exact same thing. We love who we love. We want to be together. There is nothing wrong with that. You are not stupid for that. Why? Why would you be? Because you love somebody? No. Because you are willing to not let this be a deal breaker. I mean, anything could be a damn deal breaker. Anything could. But if you're deciding, I don't want this to be one, I don't want this to be the thing that tears us all apart. My husband, I met my husband, and like I said, I don't think I would have made it with anybody else. I don't think that I was made for anybody else. So, um, like it would be, I don't know, weird for me not to be with anybody else. And it's like I've known this was my person since the very beginning. And so when this happened, I was like, he's not fucking this up for me. He is not going to take away my person. I finally found him. I didn't track him down. I found him. The universe shifted when I met him. He is not going to mess this up for me. I'm making the decision because obviously he's not great with the decision making right now. So I'm going to make this decision that this is what we're doing and we're going to be okay. And that's exactly what happened. You got to take charge of your life. When you decide to do things, you will change things around you. When you have made up your mind and you are working towards your goal, things around you fall in line with what you're trying to do. It's one of those laws of attraction, whatever it is. I think it's just where your brain goes. That's where your actions go. And so when your actions go there, other people can see those actions and then they follow along because people are kind of followers. So when you have made this decision and you're like, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it. We're going to make it. They're not going to take this person away from me. I don't care. We're going to heal. That is when you really start to heal. And that's when you start taking back your power. And you have power in this situation. You do. I want you to make sure that you are exercising it. All right. All right. So that is my dreams formula. Any questions about that? Comments? Does it make sense? Does it sound crazy? I know I always ask people that. I'm like, does it sound crazy? And a lot of people think that the things that I say do sound crazy. Like I am not big on the whole tracking your mate thing. Putting GPS on them. I got to see where you're at every 5 minutes. You got to answer every call. You got to FaceTime me so I can see where you are. I think that's too much. I think that is not actually working on trust. That is actually checking. That is not trusting. Trusting is believing that they're doing the right thing. That's what trust is. You don't know when you're trusting. You don't know for sure when you're trusting. You just believe. So I think that checking their phone and all of that, I don't think it's healthy as far as trying to heal. All right. Cosmom, you said I have had someone tell me you're willing to stay. What if he continues to cheat and he knows you're not going anywhere? See, that's the thing. Everybody always says that. Everybody always says, oh, you're giving them a green light to cheat on you again. That is not what you're doing. You are showing them something that they have never seen before. You are doing something spectacular. You are forgiving them when they know they're wrong. Like, when was the last time you were forgiven? Think about it for a second. Everybody is watching me on the replay, watching me right now. Tell me about it. The last time you were forgiven. The last time you were like, damn, I really messed this up. I should not have done this. But the other person was like, it's okay. I still love you. I still forgive you. Isn't that mind blowing? Does that make you want to go out and do it again? Absolutely not. It does not make you want to go and do it ever again because you are like, this person, this heart on this person, they are forgiving me for something. And I know I'm wrong. I know I'm horrible for doing this. And they are still saying that they love me and they forgive me and they are moving forward with me. Damn, they must really, really love me. That is what that response is. They don't just say, oh, well, she's going to just let me cheat on her all the time and it's going to be fine. No, that is not what happens. When you are really going forward and trying to heal and trying to forgive and love again, you are showing them something they have probably never seen. Honestly, most people have never actually been truly forgiven. Like, if you have an experience with it, you're lucky. All right. Most people don't have that. So seeing it, being the recipient of it is mind blowing, and it alters the way that you see the world. So it is not just giving them green light. It's not just saying, okay, you can go ahead and cheat on me as much as you want. I'm just going to sit here and be taking it. No, that's not what you're doing. You are doing something that is strong, not something that is weak. All right. That makes sense. I hope that makes sense, because that's one of my pet peeves. I hate it when people say that. You just telling him he's gonna cheat on you again. Oh, you must not have never known what it's like to be forgiven. I see. That's what it is. You've never had that. All right, let me answer some questions before I go, because I've been talking a lot. I hadn't even answered no questions. You said, especially him seeing how I felt when it first happens, to now trying to trust. Exactly. He's going to be like, damn, how strong is this chick? She must really care about me. And how amazing is she that she's able to forgive me? Huh. I'm not going to mess this up. I'm going to make sure that I treat this girl right, because this is something that I've never even seen before. This is something that I have never seen a woman do before, because most women are in these groups and they are being told, you flatten his tires, steal his phone, smash it. They're being told to do all sorts of awful things that they have to justify by saying, oh, well, you cheated on me, so I get to do all I want to do to you. And it's not a good look, okay? It just makes them think like, oh, all girls are crazy anyway. You're doing something that he has never seen before, and it is impressive. It's impressive to me. Let me just say that to you. Let me pat you on the back for the fact that you even want to do this. You are like, I love this person enough to say, yeah, I'm going to forgive you. Yeah, I'm going to do that. We are going to move forward together. Our relationship is not going to be ruined. We are going to have what we were meant to have anyway. You know how freaking strong I think you are for that? I think you are incredible for that. Don't ever act like you are weaker or lesser because of that. All right? That is just not the case. Kai's mom, you said, I got triggered early. Oh yeah, it happens. Yeah, triggered recently. His brother had a great woman just like me, and his brother was about to propose to her, but then he ended up cheating on her and got caught by her friends. Oh, see, that is, you know what? That was fear. That was his fear right there. Let me tell you about that. That was him freaking out because he had found the right one. He was thinking about going ahead and putting a ring on her, and it scared him. And he was like, let me go sabotage this. That's exactly what happened to him. And it's unfortunate. Sadly, he cheated before she forgave him. And he was so upset, but then he messed up again. He told us he loves her as a person, and she's his person, but ended up cheating. So it triggered me. Well, yeah, of course it would trigger you. He always looked up to his brother, so I'm like, his brother messed up a great thing. So now, yeah. No, don't you be picking about this either. Don't be like, oh, see what happens when you mess up. No, don't do that. Don't rub it in. He knows. He knows already. There's no need for you to rub it in. Even when you feel like it, it's not a good look, okay? But yeah, he probably freaked himself right out, feeling like he was just going to be locked down, and whatever. It's a whole bunch of stuff that people sabotage themselves with, a whole bunch of fears that surface when people are trying to get really, really close, trying to make that commitment, that connection. Why didn't you send him to me? Send her to me. She loved him. She forgave him the first time. She can do it again. She want to be with her honey. She want to be with him. He want to be with her. Send him to me. Right? All right, let's see. Let me answer some questions here. Beth said, let's see. Sometimes you're thinking that. Well, yeah, don't think about it. Be about it, girl. Send them, help them, let them get some help. All right. Beth, you said sometimes my husband is a trigger. Yeah, they can be triggers. There are smaller things that can set off my fear speech. There have been a few times when he's just being around. Just being around my husband feels overwhelming. Most of the time I can breathe and get past those anxious feelings. I'm looking for things I can do to get over that freeze reaction, because you get that fight, you get that flight, and you get freeze. Those are the things that happen when your adrenaline's pumping. So of course, the first thing is recognizing it. You're paying attention to it. You are understanding what's happening. So then you just gotta get a hold of it. Oh, I didn't talk about in your journaling. Write down your level of anxiety. Date, time, and level of anxiety. 0 to 10. 0 is no anxiety at all. 10 is oh my God, I'm going to rip my hair out, tear my hair, my clothes off, and run screaming down the street naked. It's a loss of control as a 10. Try and start with your journaling, making sure that you are monitoring how anxious you are getting, and then write in your journal about what's happening around you getting anxious about him, because there's something actually happening. You're just not able to see it because it starts to get emotionally involved before you can recognize what it is. When you're doing your journaling, what's going to happen is you're going to see the pattern. You're going to write down the date, you're going to write down the time. Now, he was gone for a month, so that may in and of itself create a little bit of anxiety because he's back now, and you were separated and doing well. And a lot of the time when you're doing well, that's when you freak out. Okay, which sounds strange, but that is really, really true. When you are doing well, when things are going smoothly, you'll start to freak out much, much easier because your brain is like, hell no, you are letting your guard down. We can't do that. Fear, 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 fear. Okay, it is going to start shoving it at you because you are comfortable. You were letting those walls down, feeling good. So remember what was happening. If you were in the moment when you were feeling really good, and then all of a sudden that fear just rose up on you, if you write that down, you will start to notice that pattern. And so then you'll be prepared for it instead of the fear jumping on you and you not knowing that it's going to jump on you. You'll anticipate it coming, and then you can start to do your things to start to calm down, the things that will soothe you before it starts to get bad. Does that make sense? Let me know, Beth. I saw you up here. Let me know. Does that make sense to you? Because it's hard. It is. It is. Linda. Hey, Linda. He said, it's very hard to understand if someone really loves you, how they could ever cheat. That is so much of what the fear speech is. It is so much of it because we have been told that, right? We have been told, oh, somebody who loves you could never cheat on you. But cheating has been around since there were more than two people on the planet. Cheating has been around forever and ever, and people have loved each other since forever and ever. So where did we get that from? That came from fear. That came from other people's fear. That came from the thoughts in your brain that say that you are less than because your person could have been attracted to anybody else. We are human beings. We have attractions. We do mess up all the time. We do the wrong things. We do things that are stupid. We do things that hurt people that we love all the time. I don't know where exactly that belief came from, but it's not true. It is just not true that somebody who loves you could just never cheat on you. That's not so. Somebody who loves you can always do the wrong thing. But that is the thing about love. It's understanding that they could, but you're not going to have a condition on loving them because they could. You can realize that they are weak and they will have their moments where they do things that hurt you, because that's what you're trying to say is somebody really loves me, they could never hurt me. That's not true at all. That has never been the case. Even your own mama could hurt you. Even your own parent, your own flesh and blood gave birth to you, could love you and hurt you really badly. So it's just one of those things. It's one of those fear thoughts that has floated around because it sounds so true. Somebody who loves you could never hurt you. And that is along the same lines as love doesn't hurt. That's another one of those things. That's not true at all. That's not true. Love is one of those things that causes you to grow. Have you ever grown and it not hurt? Has that ever happened? Have you ever grown in wisdom teeth and it didn't bother you at all? Didn't ache, didn't hurt at all? Have you ever grown taller and your bones didn't hurt at all? You are changing. When you are changing, that is a painful process, but love kind of makes it a little easier to deal with. All right. So that whole, oh, the love, it never hurts somebody to love. No, that's not true. It's not true at all. And that is why that's another reason why I started this group, because there were so many really false beliefs that are based in fear that people keep spreading around. And it makes it seem like that's totally normal. Like, oh no, they could never love you. No, that's not true at all. It's not. Does that make sense to you, Linda? Let me know. If that sounds crazy to you, I understand, because so many people will tell you different, but it's not like that. Um, Only someone who you really love deeply could hurt you like this. If it was somebody you didn't care about, how could they hurt you? It has to be somebody that loves you, that you love, that will cause this much pain. That's the only possible way that it would happen, is if you love them and your heart was wide open to them and this hurt you like that. It's somebody you didn't care about, it wouldn't matter, right? I mean, friends, let me know. Let me know. Okay, you said that makes sense. That makes, and people will keep on telling you that, and then that's just their fear speech talking to your fear speech. That's all it is, and that doesn't help anybody heal. Sitting here and saying, "Well, you couldn't have done this," because that was where I was stuck for a good little while. I think I spent about a year like, this should have never happened, and you can't go back into the past. You can't make things happen, like unhappen, that have already happened. You can't get stuck on that. You got to recognize, when you are dealing with your person, that your person loves you. You wouldn't be so in love with them that you were willing to forgive them if you did not believe that they loved you. I don't think that you're crazy like that. Like, people like are really feeling like, oh well, I must be crazy to care about them because they were able to do this. No, you're not crazy to be able to love the person you love. People mess up. People do the wrong thing. Doesn't change who they are. Doesn't change how you feel about them. Well, it may change a little bit, but honestly, when you're really like deeply in love with somebody, it really doesn't matter. And, they're gonna do messed up stuff, and you're gonna do messed up stuff, and you're gonna just try and love and live and keep on going forward. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, I did get a good question in my email. Julia asked me, she said she's not 100% sure she's going to be staying. And I completely understand that. But if you found me, if you come and join my group, if you get emails from me, you're really thinking about staying, okay? And that's okay. It's all right. I see you over there, Cosmo. Yes, yes, girl. Um, she said, however, healing is still needed. I want to still follow and get support. Would this still be a resource for it's a resource for that, or does the decision to stay mean I need something different? Let me just tell you, a lot of stuff that I'm telling you is all just for healing trauma anyway. Okay, that's what it's for. So even if you aren't staying, these things are still going to work to start to help you to heal. It's still gonna work. Okay, so even if you're not moving forward, even if that is a decision that you end up making, the things that I'm telling you, doing your journaling, doing your deep breathing, those are things that are helping with trauma, not necessarily just helping with reconciliation. So if you do feel like you're on the fence, you're not quite sure, still do what I'm telling you, but also join my Big D challenge. This Big D is your big decision, is what it is. That first step of the dreams formula, that is what this challenge is all about. It is 5 whole days. You get me an hour every single day, live every single morning, to talk to you about making this decision and going forward. So come on, sign up for it. It is on my Love After Cheating page, and it is in my bio on Instagram. I think I put it in there. I'm pretty sure I put it in there. So go sign up for it. All you need is a name and email, and we're gonna have prizes at the end of the week. We're gonna do fun stuff, and we're gonna be working on making that big decision, like feeling comfortable with making that big decision all week long. So sign up for that if you're on the fence, if you're not sure if you're gonna stay or if you're gonna go, but you're staying right now. You said, absolutely. That's why I love this. Still helps for self-healing. It does. Because a lot of what I'm telling you is just what you can do. A lot of what I'm telling you is not involving the other person. I know that so many coaches, so many programs tell you, oh, they have to be participating. They have to be ready. They have to be on the same page as you. They have to be fully transparent with you. And I'm telling you, you don't need any of that to start healing. Not a bit. Not a single thing. You could have a very resistant mate who doesn't want to talk about it, who is still seeing this chick, and you can start on the healing path and actually change how things go. I'm trying to tell you, Just go for it. It doesn't matter what they're doing. We don't need them on this because they have already shown that they don't make very good decisions. So we don't need them to make this decision. We can make this decision on our own and we can start down the healing path. And then they're going to be like, damn, she's a little ways down this path. Let me catch up. And then he's going to come on and do the right things. And then he'll be on the same page with you. But you don't need him to start. You don't need that at all. That's why it works to help heal everything. Leanne, you said, oh my God, you're the first sane person I've spoken to since the betrayal in my life. You say and believe all the things I say to others who think I'm crazy. People have been thinking I'm crazy for a couple of years now. They're like, I cannot believe you would say that. But I tried it the other ways. I spent years trying it the other ways. All that stuff that people tell you in the groups, and then you need to be able to just go through his phone whenever you feel like it. And that didn't help me. I did not trust anymore by going through his phone. I had a serious panic when I was going through it, even if I didn't find anything. And then God forbid I didn't find anything, because then I was like, well, I got to look again. It became an addiction. I had to do it over and over and over and over again. And it never made me feel any better. All of this stuff that they tell you to do, a lot of the stuff that involves the other person, like you got to make them do this and then you'll feel better. That's giving up a lot of power. I got to give all of my power to the other person to help me feel better. That sounds stupid to me. It did not work is what it was. It's really stupid to me now. I tried everything that everybody was telling me, but it sounds really stupid to me now because it was all about giving up my power. And I was like, well, I thought that was what the problem was. I lost power on this. I need to gain something back. Let me get this. Let me work on this. And that's where I came up with all this. What worked for me, and it works if you work it. I promise you, every woman that has ever been like, okay, yes, I'm going to go along with the dreams formula. I'm going to follow this, and actually did it step by step by step, got better, healed. The relationship is better. So, I know everybody says all those things, but things that don't work, I don't do. And I don't want you doing. If it doesn't work, don't do it. It's just a waste of time. And then that makes you feel like you're bound for failure. It makes you feel like, oh, well, I did everything that the so-called experts told me that I was supposed to be doing to be able to heal this, and I don't feel any better. So that must mean that the relationship is doomed. That's horrible. It's like backing yourself into a corner. No, you don't need any of that. So I'm glad you are here, Leanne. I'm glad I am here with you. You are exactly who I made this group for, so you could understand that you are not incorrect. You are right about the things that you are thinking about this healing process. You really are. All right. Even Kai's mom, you say, yes, it's a lose-lose when you're so scared and insecure. It is. And then all of that advice they give you is all based in you still acting scared and insecure. How do you ever come out of it? How do you ever pull up out of that hole if you're consistently listening to the fear and doing what the fear tells you to do? How do you ever get better? How do you feel better? How do you not be scared if you're constantly listening to the fear? That's why I always tell you, you got to stop listening to what the fear tells you to do. It is not good for you. All right, let me see. Jessica asked me how to forgive and regain trust. The dreams formula. That's how you do it. Decide what you want. Recognize that you're going to be afraid by making that decision, but all big decisions come with fear. Evaluate the why. Why did this happen? Why did he do this? You know his story better than anybody else. A is allow that healing to happen. Let it go. Don't keep talking about it. Don't keep rehashing it. Actually let the healing go forward. Manage those future feelings when you're dealing with those triggers. Try and catch them when they're baby monsters instead of huge monsters, and get some support to help you do that. And trust in forgiving is practice. It is, I made up my mind that I'm going to trust you again. And so when there is a situation where I could trust you or not trust you, I'm going to choose to trust you. When there is a situation where I could act forgiving or I could act not forgiving, I'm going to act like a person who forgave. It's just a simple matter of being mindful of every chance you have to be able to forgive and to be able to trust. Does that make sense to you, Jessica? I don't know. You said you couldn't be with us tonight, but hopefully if you catch it on the replay later, you will hear me telling you, Jessica, how to forgive and how to regain trust. A lot of it is practice. And we're going to do a trust issues challenge. I think that's in a couple of months. But and we're going to talk about, all the things you can do to regain your trust. But right now, it's for the people who are on the fence. We're at the beginning of the year. You can't figure out, should we go forward in 22 and be together or should we not? I'm going to help you with that and then in the Big D challenge. Let's see. Shireen, Shireen, is too much for me to address your whole question right here. I got to send you a message, okay? I'm sorry. I told you I would talk about it on live, but there's too much. I got several things that we need to talk about. I can't go through all of it right now because I'm actually over my time. And you all are still with me. Bless your hearts. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you still being with me. I just wanted to make sure that I answered these questions because I asked people this morning if they had questions. Precious, you were asking the same thing. How do I heal? How do I forgive? Is it possible to do it? That's what Precious was asking me. She was like, is it possible to do this? He has cheated more than once. It has happened more than once. You absolutely can do it if it's happened more than once. You for sure can heal from it and get to the point where they don't do it at all anymore. That is exactly what happened with us. My husband cheated a whole bunch, not just once or twice. I consistently caught him cheating, okay? And we got past that part to the part where he is being a good husband. He is being trustworthy. And a lot of that came from what I did, not from what he did. Wow. Let's see. That was Precious. Let's see. Betty have a question. I was telling Betty about acting the way that you want to behave, not the way the fear tells you to behave. That's an important point. The fear is going to tell you things that are going to isolate you, that are going to keep you separate from your beloved. And what you need to do is the opposite of whatever the fear tells you to do. Whatever it's telling you, that the fear is like, you need to look at his phone. You do not. It is absolutely imperative that you do not, if that is what the fear is screaming at you to do. All sorts of things. There's a whole bunch of them that you shouldn't do when the fear is telling you to do them. Because you don't want to live like that. That's the whole thing. You don't want to live in fear, so you should not be acting in fear. Shouldn't be doing that on a regular basis. Or you're going to set yourself off, and then you're going to be afraid, and you're going to freak out, and you're going to start screaming, and you're going to be arguing, and he's like, you're never going to let this go. And you're like, I'm trying to let it go right now, but I'm also screaming at you. It leaves things confused. So let's not do that. All right, I think I got everybody's questions. I think I did. I just want to make sure that I got everybody. Anything else? Anything going on? Anything you wanted me to answer? Anything you're confused about? Anything you're like, girl, you are crazy. I cannot believe you said such a thing. Leanne, it's so heartwarming for me that you called me sane. I feel so good about that because, for a long time, people were calling me crazy. People were like, no, this is crazy. This is not what the experts say. Somebody said to me yesterday, well, everybody says that they should be completely transparent with you. And I was like, he's a grown up. He's not going to be giving you his phone like he's a teenager and you're his mom. That's not going to work. That is not the type of relationship you want. So let's not even start off that way. Start how you want to finish. Start with love and trust and forgiveness and openness and vulnerability and happiness. You got to start with that in order to end up there. You got to start giving yourself these positives if you want this relationship to work out. Trying to make him suffer, trying to make him stay remorseful all the time and just live in misery because you're in misery is not going to lead to a happy relationship together. It just doesn't work that way. So I think that is about it for today. You let me know if you're watching this on the replay. I, of course, want to hear from you. Absolutely. Let me know what's going on. If there was some part of this that you're like, I need that explained a little bit more, put it in the comments. Let me know. And I will absolutely answer all your comments, either on the YouTube video or on the love coach, the love after cheating video. Linda, you said how long does what? How long does it take to heal? How long does it take to? I'm assuming that you mean heal. I think you can fit it into a year. You can fit it into a year. If you are diligent about being mindful about what you're thinking, what you're feeling, if you are diligent about working on your emotions, if you are diligent about not just automatically reacting when you have an emotion, because you don't have to do that. People always feel like, oh, I feel some kind of way, so I have to do something that goes along with that. And you don't have to. You can actually just feel an emotion and let it pass. You don't actually have to react to it. That's where a lot of people get into trouble, because it'll be like you're starting to heal. Things are starting to go a little bit better. And like I said, that is when a lot of fear comes up. And so then your brain starts tossing you questions to ask him, making you want to start a confrontation, making you be like, this thing that you said about it didn't make any sense. And let me ask you about it again. And then you start an argument. And then you're like, well, why are you so defensive about it? And they're like, well, because you're making me be defensive, because you're accusing me, you're yelling at me, you're fussing at me about something that has been months going forward. So let's see, Linda, you said it's been 2 months and I am not ready to make a choice. That's okay. That is all right. You are still there right now, though. So that actually is a choice. Don't dismiss that you are making a choice right this second, okay? But you're like, okay, you're not making the choice towards, okay, this is going to be forever. Come join. And you're on the page right now. Come join my Big D challenge. We are going to talk about that. That is what we're going to work on starting on the 17th. Every morning for an hour, I'm going to be talking about making that decision, the things that you need to consider, what you need to go for, if that is a good decision for you, if this is the right person for you. That is what we're going to be talking about. So if you're still on the fence, that's okay. That's all right. We will talk about that. But don't dismiss the fact that you already are currently in the middle of making a decision. You are here with me. And you know, I am all about the love. You've been with me for a couple weeks now, right? You have been in my love after cheating group. You have been here with me. You're like, I think I might want to stay. That's actually a decision. That is something that you are already deciding. You're leaning towards your love and your relationship. And there is nothing wrong with that. You are not wrong for that at all. You are not wrong for loving who you love. You are not wrong for wanting to forgive. There is nothing wrong with forgiving. I don't know why they keep trying to put that on women, like, oh, we're so wrong for wanting to forgive the people that we love. Why is that wrong? Why is that a bad thing to do? It's not. It is absolutely perfectly reasonable as human beings to want to forgive and be close to the people that we love. It's just part of being a human being, and it makes total sense to me. Even if you're having a hard time with it right now, I completely understand why you would want to. All right. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad at all. Don't let other people make you feel bad either. A lot of the time you will get people, if you tell people about it, they will try and guilt you and shame you into not carrying through with the decision. And it is perfectly okay for you to make this decision. I don't think you're wrong. That's why I made this whole group. That's why I talk to women and try and help as many women as I possibly can, because I don't think that you're wrong. I think that if you love this person, they are worthy of your love, and you can get to a point where you feel very comfortable giving that love and receiving love from them. Again, you absolutely can. It's just the fact that you got to get through this hard part first. That's all. All right. Hope that helps, Linda. But yeah, about a year. You're only 2 months out. So I expect it to be about a year, but it's not all standing in the same position. There are phases to it, but you go a little bit where everything is all right, then there's a bump. And then you go a little bit when everything's okay, and then there's a bump. And then you kind of backslide a little bit, and you feel bad for a while, and then you go a little further this time, and then there's a bump. So it's an incremental thing. It's slow, but the more frequently you have those good times, the more the easier it is to get back to those good times. So it takes like less and less time to feel better after a bump, if that makes sense. It's maybe about a year for you to be like, okay, yeah, I made a good decision. We're okay. Things are working out all right. It takes that time for your brain to be able to calm down and say, okay, I see what you were trying to do here. This was the person that we loved. Okay, they were worth it. This is not a bad thing to be with the person that we love. So maybe about a year if you're actually working on it, working on your part and not focusing on their part, just working on you. All right. So I hope I got everybody's questions. I hope everybody's feeling a little bit better, feeling pretty good after the healing hour, or the healing hour and a half. Truth be told, I was a little late starting, so it wasn't quite an hour and a half. But I'm glad I got to talk to you all this time for our first live of the year. And yes, indeed, I am going to be back next week again for the Healing Hour Live at 8 p.m. on Thursday night. Let's see. Anything else? Sign up for the Big D Challenge. Sign up. Trust me, it's going to be fun. We're going to give out prizes. It's going to be fun. Come join me. I've done this before, and it's always a good time, and people always feel like they have a little bit more clarity. They're feeling a little bit more hopeful at the end of a challenge with me. So come work with me. Should see what it's like to work with me all week long. All right. All righty, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. You're very welcome. To everybody say thank you, Linda. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you were here with me today. Let's see. Let's do an affirmation for the end. What's a good affirmation? Oh, I'm gonna steal one from Jennifer. Jennifer, you gave me good affirmations this morning, and I'm gonna steal one and tell everybody that they should. Wait, now I can't find it. Oh, dang, we talked a lot. I didn't know we talked that much this morning, Jennifer. All right, let's see. She gave me the affirmation, I am willing to see things differently, even if I'm not ready yet. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. I am ready to see things. I am willing to see things differently, even if I'm not quite ready yet. Because even if you're not quite ready yet, you talk to me and you see things a little bit differently, right? See things it's a little bit different than what you thought it was. That is all you need. You just need a little bit of change of perspective. You're so welcome, Leanne. Thank you so much for being here. So that's my affirmation for the day. And let me just tell you, don't do what the fear tells you to do. Make healing choices, not hurting choices. Stay on the healing path and message me if you need me. I will talk to you. I will talk you off the ledge if you need me to. So that's about it. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope everybody signs up for my Big D Challenge in the meantime, all right? Okay, that's it. Bye. And